This time we are looking at a function that is represented with data. So let's read the intro. We have Rocephin, and it is administered at 50 milligrams per kilogram as an IV over 30 minutes to treat a pediatric patient with meningitis. The child weighs 52 pounds. The following table shows the milligrams of Rocephin, represented by R, remaining in the child after T hours. So we are not going to do all of the questions on the slide in the video, but we are going to focus on two questions that really get into the math, and you'll do the others in class. So we are going to work with this question and this question, which really focus on the math. So in this particular function, time is first, it is the input. And so as we understand this table, when the IV began at 0 hours, the child was given a dose of 1,180 milligrams of Rocephin. So this is my output. And as I look down the table, it appears that the child's amount of Rocephin is being monitored. So 2.3 hours later, their body would have eliminated some of that, and they are down to 834.4 milligrams. And at the 4.6 hours after that IV, they are down to 590 milligrams because their body continues to eliminate some of the Rocephin. So the first question that we're going to focus on is, what is the average rate of change per hour between 0 and 2.3 hours? So right here is my 0, and here's my 2.3. And we want to know how much does the amount of Rocephin change per hour. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 1180 and I'm going to subtract out the 834.4. And with the help of my calculator, sorry, started writing the wrong number there. With the help of my calculator, I get 345.6. So what is that? That's milligrams. And when I look at the way I did my math, I have a positive value, but when I look at the actual problem, that amount of milligrams has been eliminated, so the number of milligrams has actually gone down. So it's changed in the negative direction. And then I was supposed to calculate per hour. So this change, this drop in the milligrams, did not happen instantaneously. It happened over the course of 2.3 hours, because when I look up here, time went from 0 to 2.3 hours. So now I want to do this division on my calculator, and I find out that on average, the child is dropping 150.26 milligrams of Rocephin every single hour. So for this first section, from time is 0 to time is 2.3, the milligrams went down, and they went down by 345.6 milligrams. And that happened over the course of 2.3 hours. And so when I divide that out, I have this average rate that they dropped 150.26 milligrams every single hour. So now there's a second half to the question, and it asks me, what about between hours 2.3 and 4.6? So I'm literally going to repeat the math. So this time, let me get a different color pen. We are going to be working with 2.3 and 4.6. And so the first thing I want to do is figure out, well, how much have the milligrams changed in that time frame? So I take 834.4 and I subtract from that 590, and I find that there was a change of 244.4. And like the previous one, I put a negative there because truly this was a drop in milligrams. And that's the milligrams part, but that's not the per hour part. So I have to do the per hour. So that happens over the course of 2.3 hours. This is not quite as obvious, so let me show you how I got that. The 834 was when we were at 2.3 hours, and the 590 was at 4.6. So if I do the subtraction, 4.6 minus 2.3, I find that that was an interval of 2.3 hours. So once again, I am going to do this division, the negative 244.4 divided by 2.3, and I find that now the child is dropping an average of 106.26 milligrams per hour. So I see here in the first 2.3 hours, the child on average is losing more milligrams than in the second block of 2.3 hours. So the child is not eliminating the rocephin at a constant rate. And now I'm asked to use this information that I've collected and calculated up here to estimate the milligrams of rocephin at the 4-hour mark. So looking at my data, at the 2.3 hour mark, I know that they have 834. I know that the rocephin is dropping, it is going down, but it doesn't go the whole way down to 590. So in this time frame, it is dropping on average, it is losing 106.26 milligrams per hour. That's what we had just calculated. That's how fast it's dropping. So it started here at 834.4 at the 2.3 hour mark. It's dropping this much per hour. So what I need to figure out is from 2.3 to 4 hours, how much time has elapsed. So I simply do some subtraction. So I take 4 and I subtract the 2.3, and I find that this 4-hour mark would be 1.7 hours after that last recorded measurement of 2.3. So I know that it is going to drop at a rate of negative 106.26 milligrams per hour. And what I just figured out is that that's going to happen for 1.7 hours. I can see the hours cancel out there in that math, and I do this multiplication, and I figure out that in this time frame of 1.7 hours, they will drop 180.624 milligrams. So, where did they start? Well, we looked at this and we had recorded that at 2.3 hours they had 834.4, and then in the next 1.7 hours they'll drop an additional 180 point some, and so I do that math on my calculator and I get an estimate that they would be at 653.758 milligrams. So, in my chart, at the 2.3 hour mark, they were at 834, and we estimated that at the 4-hour mark, they will be at 653.758. And that makes sense because we know that they would be going down. And specifically, we had calculated here that they were going down at an average rate of 106.26 per hour. 4 hours is a bit more than 1 hour, almost 2 hours away from our last measurement. And so we get this value, and that seems to be in the right range.